Hello and welcome back to the channel, folks. This is my first time casting from the Unconquered Sun balance mod that was put together specifically to support the sub-commander's genre of play, and oh boy, look at this map they've chosen to. This is going to be interesting. So some of you may not know about this mod. I'm still learning about it. There is a video that Soul has up on this channel that I linked to in my community section on the channel. I'll try and get a link to it in the description here, but you should go watch it. Essentially, they rebalance units in the mod to try and make each faction more unique, and then they also add a special commander ability to each faction, essentially. So see, like here, Anvil, Armor, Bracing, Melee Defense, and then Hammer. So like Macedon has these specific Hammer and Anvil abilities that go on the general, so it gives them a unique feel, something more akin to what we saw with Fast Charge and Swaby. I'm going to go ahead and pause this for a moment and cover I'm going to call it the home team army here. That's the yellow and blue outlined banners, and it looks like Macedon is taking on the cavalry role, and it looks like we're going to see the RDA in the spear and skirmish role, and then we're going to see Epirus in the melee infantry role. So again, for those of you less familiar, sub-commanders, you have a player in each role, and there's a certain number of units, like limited types of units that they can pick for each one so that it makes it a little more balanced. So we're going to see a citizen cavalry and a companion cavalry. There is an Aspis companion cavalry. These guys got a couple of changes in the balance mod. They cost less, which kind of makes it a little easier to field them, and then all sword cavalry picks up a 5 bonus versus infantry, if I heard it right. So in their role of killing light to medium infantry and skirmishers, they will be quite good. So let's take a look at the other side as far as cavalry. It looks like a Sarissa and Thessalian cavalry, and then one more Sarissa cavalry out to the far left flank of the formation. The RDA, I can see, I think, let's see, slave slingers. I see 2 slave slingers, 3, and then Illyrian Thurio spears up front, and then we're going to also see in the back here some Illyrian hoplites, and Illyrian Marine, and an Illyrian Noble Guard. So I'm not sure if I've recognized this unit, the Noble Guard. I know there's the Noble Hoplite. So yeah, this is not a unit I'm familiar with. This might be a new one that got added. Yeah, look at that, 10 armor-piercing damage on a spear, 35 weapon damage. That is a interesting unit there. It doesn't come with Hoplite Wall, but it can form a square. And it looks like the commander here doesn't have like a special ability for the Illyrians yet. And then for Epirus, let's see if they have a special commander that we can check out here. The Veteran Hoplites, that's going to be where the leader's at. And we have Lambs to the Slaughter, which this looks to be a new special ability. It goes in phases. So the first phase gives charge bonus, melee damage, and armor. And the second phase, they lose some defense and bracing, but they become unbreakable. So this is going to give Epirus the ability to charge in a little harder and put a beating. Then we got Descendant of Heroes, which increases speed, AP, and melee attack. So very cool stuff here. It says a 10-second wind-up time. So interesting abilities for Epirus. So cool to see there. So let's check out the rest of them. We got Samnite Warriors, that would be expected, and there's some Illyrian levies up front. Some of these levy units that have javelins, which I believe Illyrian levies do, now have the ability to actually target those javelins rather than just having to be auto-fire, and that's not just Epirus. I believe that went across multiple factions. Now, on the other side of the battlefield, it's going to be hard for me to call out their whole army because a lot of it's hidden, but it looks like Bactria is playing the cavalry role. I see some light horse and some Bactrian noble horse. Bactrian noble horse are fantastic cavalry. Let's check back here. Sarissa cavalry actually came screaming into the back lines here. It only picked up 1 kill. It's in the face of a Bactrian noble horse and a Bactrian royal cav. Let's look at the Bactrian royal cav and see if we can, get down here. It looks like just intimidate and second wind. So no special commander here on the Bactrian general. Just wanted to check on that. So pretty good looking force of Bactrian troops so far. I cannot see a Roman commander, but I do see gladiator spearmen, which is interesting. Rome must be playing the spear role. That is an odd one for them. Gladiator spears, though, do have the rapid advance and killing spree. It'll make them very tired, but it makes them very fast. They also have this square ability. They can cause a lot of damage if they get into the right spot. Some of those are spear gladiatresses, and some are the gladiator spearmen. And then we got Triari. Triari are nice heavy spears, and then it looks like Swaby is going to pick up the melee role. They have a Swordmaster Commander. Is that a fast charge general? Oh, we're on the wrong unit here. Let's see. Yeah, it's Fast Charge Swaby Commander here, so Fast Charge and Pride. And then we're going to have Bloodsworn, and we'll see the rest of their units as they become available. So let's go ahead and hit play and observe the battle. The terrain here is very tricky. There's choke points, I believe. This may be the Teutoburg Forest map or some variation of it. I believe it is. So it's an interesting one in terms of very tricky terrain. And choke points are going to be a very real thing, and cavalry maneuverability will come through limited avenues. And there's a lot of forest, too, that's going to play down cavalry a little. I wouldn't say it's going to have no role, but it'll play it down some. That is a ton of Club Levy and Bloodsworn here for the Swaby. And then I see some Round Shield Swordsmen. Golly, I don't even remember this unit. It's been a long time. This may be one that got added or something, but looking at weapon strength, good attack, pretty standard weapon damage, but I mean not super survivable, so it just looks like a pretty nice medium infantry here. Yeah, I haven't seen these units in a long time. Maybe an ad for the mod, or I'm just no longer familiar with them because they don't get used very often. But yeah, interesting to see them in that role. There's a Bactrian Horse Archer over here. Remember Bactrian Horse Archers? Ooh, these ones are in heavy shot too, or precision shot. They're gonna hit with 48 damage. Yikes, man, that is going to hurt. They don't have a great angle, but they're putting some shots into those levies down there. And then the Romans have some levies of their own who are chucking javelins into the Illyrian levies. They're going to go toe-to-toe with the Round Shield Swordsmen. I would think the Swordsmen could easily clean up that fight, so a smart move for the levies to pull back. And it looks like the Romans and the Swaby, who I guess decided to give the Romans back their legions and cooperate here. They're moving around up to this rock formation, which leaves this Agrionian Axemen terribly outmatched. Now this is interesting though, look at the Agrionian Axemen, this is a change. They are actually a true hybrid infantry now. They've been given more numbers here, so that they're an actual hybrid unit. So that's a cool uniqueness for the factions who are going to have access to those. Look at this. This Illyrian levy going full YOLO over here. It is going to get hit by that Round Shield Swordsman. I would imagine that Swordsman is going to get the better of this exchange quite quickly. And I'm so excited to play in this mod. I'm actually hoping that I can sit down maybe tomorrow or another day with this Gathering Stone group. By the way, I'll try and put some links to their Discord in the description if you want to join that. Definitely a fun place to get into some battles. I loved playing with them the last time I did, so I'm going to try and get in there do some more. There is an overwhelming amount of infantry headed this direction. Swaby are just really pushing hard for this hill, and meanwhile it looks like Epirus and the Illyrians here are going to try and maybe break through to get some support to the rear. But right now, these Illyrian hoplites just have a horde of infantry coming. There are Samnites coming to back them up. I remember the hammer and anvil thing from Macedon. Timing on that is going to be critical, whether it becomes useful. And then the same thing for the Epirus. But Epirus, their commander's way over here, and they have a lot of infantry over here who could potentially use that benefit right now. I didn't see a fast charge from the Swaby yet either, and here comes the charge. Illyrian hoplites moving into a wall. They are horribly outnumbered. There is Agrionian Axemen. They're turning around, and they're going to come back into melee rather than throw their javelins. I mean, they look like a decent melee unit at this point when I'm looking at the stats on them. And then over here, a Triari is going to come charging towards an Illyrian Marine. Those Illyrian Marines have some improved attack. That's going to be a tough unit. So, interesting changes to the Illyrian Marine. At least it looks like a change to me. I don't remember them having that good of a melee attack. So those Triari are going to find themselves in an interesting fight. The Intimidate being used here, though, to try and get that Illyrian Marine to break early. There are some gladiators and, yeah, just gladiators moving this direction. The gladiatresses are elsewhere. There's that Aspis companion cavalry moving around. Got a number of Bloodsworn being held in reserve, and then look here, those Illyrian hoplites really struggling to hold the line, but this Noble Guard moves up, and they actually appear to be a Javelin unit as well. Holy crap, this is going to be such a unique unit for the RDA. Dang, yeah, Javelin, and it's like a Javelin hoplite hybrid. It can't do a hoplite wall, but still, that is an insane hybrid. Look, the Agrionians now pulling back out of combat. They're going to let these Illyrian hoplites move forward, and then we did get a Samnite warrior in here. And these javelins are really causing some serious damage there. That Bloodsworn's getting wrecked. Let's come over here and check out the veteran hoplite heading into combat here for Epirus. Remember, this is the one that had the special ability, and it is engaged right now. So speed, AP damage, melee attack, and morale up. And we can see that active because of the 35 damage there. I think the elite spear is 30. Here comes some mercenary Samnite warriors pushing in as well. And back here, those Illyrian Thurio spears really keeping Bactria at bay here for at least a moment. These berserkers got in behind enemy lines here, and they are going to absolutely go off, but they're getting hit by some slave slingers point blank. That's a good call by the Illyrians. Let's see what's happening on this other side. The companion cavalry now getting into it. Those Aspis combining with the citizen cavalry and really working that noble horse. Over here, the companion cavalry got a solid charge into the Bactrians and the bodyguard, but there are gladiator spearmen nearby, and the spear gladiatresses are moving forward. They've got their frenzy going on here. That companion cavalry and Aspis better watch out. These gladiatresses are going to rip them a new one really quick, so Macedon really needs to get their cavalry away. This is going to turn real sour for them real fast, I think. There is some reinforcements headed that direction. Let's take a look back over at the melee fight. That Illyrian noble guard now taking a pretty solid beating by these swordmasters. And right here we're seeing some cycle charges from the Bloodsworn. It's a nice play. Triarian Reserve. They are being benefited by Pride right now. So the Swaby General having dropped Pride. I'm going to see extra AP damage. And then the other fight back in this direction, those mercenary Samnite warriors and the veteran hoplites breaking through the somewhat beleaguered rear defenses of Rome and Swaby there, along with Bactria. These Aspis companion cavalry definitely looking really tough here. They do have a bonus versus these spearmen, but the spearmen have a much larger bonus versus them. And it looks like Macedon's cavalry is going to be cut down here. So that is unfortunate for Macedon, but they kind of got caught in a bad engagement here. And Rome and Bactria are going to make them pay the price for it. If I swing over here, we've got our mercenary Samnites holding out against the Triari. Interesting fight here. The Roman veterans up against some really well-armored Samnite warriors. I would expect the Samnites to be able to win this type of thing, but I don't expect the Triarii to just roll over. That wasn't their purpose. This fight is really slogging out here, and that Swordmaster is a tough unit to beat. The Samnite warriors there, the Bloodsworn and those Swordmasters all together there, that's going to be a decent bit of damage, especially if the Bloodsworn will cycle charge. They don't do a lot of total damage, but a lot of their damage is armor piercing, so it can be good against high-value targets. A lot of Illyrian Thurio spears back here still in good shape. That Bactrian Horse Archer getting worked right now. And then these mercenary Samnite warriors charging into the levies, and then here comes the veteran hoplites. Looks like trying to engage this other levy as well. These units took a beating back here, and it shows the power bar pretty even at the moment. If I was just guessing, though, I feel like the red-bannered team, though, is in a good position. I don't see how it's calling it so even. I could be wrong, though. We'll see. Those Illyrian Marines are now pretty good units. And the Samnites they're struggling to put away those Triari. Here comes a charge from the General and Bodyguard. There are some Agrionian Axemen back here who are being harassed by these Bactrian cavalry. The Agrionians have a decent bit of armor piercing because of their axes, but this is way too much for them to handle. And they are going to get crushed back here by spear gladiatresses and cavalry. I would expect to see that power bar creeping ever against the home team there.
Orders understood.
Trying to see what's left. Yeah, just some Illyrian Thurios, and their leadership is not great. And then look here, Intimidate being dropped back here, and it hit a lot of the blue team's units, the home team. So that is definitely going to hurt. It may hit. I don't think it hit all. Yeah, it did hit all units, that Intimidate. Dang, that's rough. That might be map wide. I don't remember exactly how that ability works, but if that's map wide, then that's going to hurt right now because the morale was already faltering. So I do believe that the away team here, the red, the Romans, the Bactrians, and the Swaby are probably going to pull out a victory. Here comes a nice charge here from the Bloodsworn downhill into those beleaguered veteran hoplites. This is not going to be a good place for them. Boy, they put up a fight, though. 166 kills. Look at those Bloodsworn, though. Such a cheap unit. 108 kills. That is fantastic work on their part. So the Romans playing the part of the spears, and honestly celebrating a little bit early, but a well-deserved celebration. That's because of this presence. So that is definitely going to be a nice victory here for the red team, and an interesting role to see Rome take on as the spears, but they're capable. The Romans do a lot of things. It's interesting, I see some of you in the comments who think Rome is just straight up overpowered, which is odd to me. I don't really think or see that in Rome 2. Others of you think that Rome is just like the worst trash faction in the game, and that to me seems like a bit of an overreaction in the other direction. I feel like Rome is a solid faction. It depends on the circumstances on how well they shine. Obviously the vanilla version of the game is different to what you're seeing here because this is an overhaul mod. But at the same time, like I feel like Rome probably gets a little bit of both extremes, and in my mind they kind of fit somewhere more in the middle. I would say they're a better than average faction. I don't know if I would put them in the top tier of just like competitive Rome 2 play on vanilla mode, but they are good. But I don't see them as being overpowered either. So there we go, a costly enemy victory for the away team there. And what a game it was. Sol Invictus playing Epirus here, so he took on the infantry role. A lot of times I think I've seen him in the cavalry role, so nice kills on those hoplites. Very good work here with some of the Samnite warriors. They got a good number of kills, but ultimately the rest of his army, the Illyrian levies though are cool units. I like the use of these, especially because remember that in sub-commanders you're at I think you only get 5,000 funds each, so you really have to like go for numbers more than quality, and so I like the use of the Illyrian levies. Let's see, I don't even know where to pronounce this one. Pro Demolition. All right, so Pro Demolition is got the RDA here. Illyrian Noble Guard, cool unit to see there. The hoplites were trying, they just got so overnumbered. These Thurio spears back here, that one was absolutely owning. And the Illyrian Marine picked up a couple of chevrons too. Really cool support units. I like what the RDA are getting here. It's cool to see them getting some uniqueness since they were kind of an underdeveloped faction. Macedon, I think they have some really cool ability now to play the cavalry role here. Or honestly, they could play the other roles too and just use those abilities to support their teammates. But one way or the other, I mean, they're a really cool faction. They had a real struggle of it because Bactria caught them in a bad spot, and Bactria is tough to take down from a cavalry perspective. There was 3 light horse and a couple of noble. All of these are good units for Bactria. The horse archers, like Bactria is definitely solid in terms of cavalry. So that was a tough one. But so good job to John. Jaw, and then we had Hotel Soap in here too. So he was the one playing the Roman Spear, and I'd leave it to him. He comes up with some fun builds, so I like this build. That was a cool one. And then Fallen Kaiser here, taking in the Suebi. I love the number, just the sheer number of Suebi there. I think got to be a real issue for the other team in terms of just trying to contain them. So I really like this interesting, like big number of Suebi for this game mode. Bringing in that many troops is a lot, kind of like the RDA had up here. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed that one. I definitely appreciate Sol sending it over. And like I said, go check out the Gathering Stone Discord if you want to get involved in these battles. I know I'm going to play some soon. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I'll see you all later with some more action in Total War Rome 2.